Hey guys, it's Jamie, bringing you recovery-inspired hope. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jamie Tall. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Glow Beauty Lounge, helping promote recovery, confidence, and beauty from the inside out. Tonight we have a very special guest with us tonight, Tyler Mckee. Tyler, I've known Tyler pretty much since like day one of day two, the second day of his journey to Athens and in recovery. So I'm so excited to have him here tonight. So Tyler, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Tyler Mckee, and I am 31 years old. I have been in recovery just over 2 years now. I moved to Athens, Georgia, specifically for recovery, and since then I've made a network here and a group of very supportive people that have guided me onto a much healthier and much more effective path in my life. And I just wanted to come and talk to you guys so maybe I could help somebody else out there that might be suffering the way I suffered.
Awesome, and we super appreciate your courage to come out here and talk to everybody and share your story with everyone. So tell us a little bit about what happened in your life that made you decide you wanted to do something different.
Okay, well, I had been using since I was about 18 years old, 19 years old.
And how old are you right now? 31. Okay.
31. So over 10 years now. For about 10 years I was using. But it all started very, very small. I started to use pain medication time I got out of high school and into college. And me and my best friend were just using pain meds that we were sneaking away from his grandma. Pretty cliche, but we had no idea what we were doing. It was being young like that. It doesn't really take much for me to justify, popping a couple pills. I didn't know what it was. I just knew the way it made me feel. I had been experimenting with drugs since I was, 15, and I found exactly what I was looking for in opiates.
So when you were 15 now, what was your first thing that you tried?
Grey goose and marijuana.
Okay, so your regular kind of high school kind of stuff,
Yeah.
drinking, smoking pot.
Sure.
Now, was there anything specific that happened at a young age? Was there some kind of trauma that was a gateway, or were you just kind of like having fun, experimenting as a kid?
Well, looking back on it, it was just all fun and games until, my dad, who is also an addict, he had kept his act together my whole life. My mom made sure of that. But when I turned 18, he went off the rails with alcohol, and my parents divorced, which at the time really didn't faze me that much. I was able to deal with it, but I chose to stay with my dad when my mom left. So I was witness to my father's downward spiral, and that sent things in a really dark direction. A lot of things happened, and so I kind of went off into the wrong direction at that point. But I didn't really realize that it was any kind of traumatic type event at that point. But looking back on it now, it was definitely I was definitely medicating. But the second part of it is also the fact that I had pretty severe mental health issues as a kid.
So do you believe that mental health and substance use disorder go hand in hand?
there's no doubt in my experience. There's no doubt. You know, I had at times very debilitating problems. I suffered from Tourette syndrome for years, and also extremely bad OCD. So my brain was basically hijacked for 6-7 years, while I should have been enjoying myself with my friends. You know, it was difficult, and the marijuana, the alcohol helps, and you know, that's. I eventually found the right medication, and the Tourette syndrome and the OCD, which I still deal with, but very slightly. I was able to grow out of that, but at the time it was very difficult.
So, and so the journey to leading up to you coming into recovery at what age? 29 it would have been,
Yeah,
right?
I was 29.
Okay, 29. So what happened that put you at that crossroad where you were like, I need help. I need to go into treatment? Or were you mandated? Like, what happened?
I wasn't mandated, but you know, it was a very quick succession of events in my life that that made it to where it was, in my mind, really inevitable. You know, for me, recovery is about survival. You know, it's either about living or dying. Simple as that. And that's where I was at. So basically, when I was when I was about 24 years old, I met my girlfriend at the time, and she had chronic pain problems. I was a heroin addict, real bad at the time, and she took pain medicine for her issue, and that's how we connected. That's how we met. We were together for 6 years, and when I was about 28, about 3 months before I came to Athens, you know, my fiance's mother passed away, and a month after that, she died. Not from drugs, but you know, over the course of time of taking so many drugs, her body failed, and and you know, at the time, it was just such a extremely traumatic event that I ended up just really ramping up. I did whatever I could to not care at all about the outcome of my life, about the way my friends or family felt about anything. We had a memorial for Mallory, and about a month after she had passed away, and all of my friends from my active addiction that I hadn't been speaking to for years, who were also my best friends growing up, came to that. And they, you know, I had nowhere to live. You know, I had been staying with her family, but then it was her dad lost his whole family. He wanted to be alone, so I left. I had nowhere to go, so my best friends let me live with them. And even though we had gone through so much active addiction together, I was so bad at the time, they just weren't willing to deal with me at all. So I just went out of my way to just burn every bridge that I could. And, you know, that's, I had nowhere to go. I had no one that trusted me anymore. I didn't trust myself, and I had lost the most important person in my life. And I did a lot of bad things to a lot of people that I love very much. And so that at that point, the only person I had left was my mom and sister. And they're the most incredible family that you can imagine. My mom is a true warrior, and you know, she just wasn't having it. She, you know, she backed me into a corner at that point, and basically told me, you know, I'm gonna get the authorities involved. I'm gonna, you know, a lot of things happen, and so I finally, after 10 years of everyone telling me I should go to rehab, finally made the decision to do it. So I called my cousin who lives here in Athens. He had 6 years clean through a program here. He told me, you get out here and we'll go from there. Just getting detox, so I did.
Wow. And it's such a blessing because it's, you know, we never think about the things that we put our family through, our moms, our sisters, our brothers, our grandmothers, you know, and it's so hard on their end to be able to draw that line and say, enough is enough. I am not going to allow you to do this anymore, you know, if you're going to be part of my life.
Yeah.
So tell me about your specific pathway and how that has worked for you.
Okay. I admitted myself into a detox center here in Athens. I spent about 10 days there. At the time, I was coming off of a substantial amount of opiates. Particularly at the time, I was taking a very high level dose of methadone daily for a very long time, and I had also became addicted to benzos as well at the time. So I was coming off of that,
which is very dangerous.
Extremely dangerous.
Yes, yes,
and extremely painful, of course.
Yes.
And the thing that I want to express to, you know, I mean, parents out there or loved ones of addicts, when you hear people talk about the level of how the sickness that people go through detoxing, you know, there's really not very good language out there that can reach the degree of how bad it is. It's you know, it's more than just being sick. You know, you're, you know, it's almost as if you don't want to. You know, you don't want to be in your body anymore, and you know, you do anything less than kill yourself. You know, and I wasn't willing to do that. I had come out there. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't know if I was gonna go to rehab. I didn't know if I was gonna be homeless after I got out of there. I didn't know what the process was. So luckily, I had met 2 individuals that worked there as counselors, and I connected with them. I could tell that just looking at them when they walked in the door that they were going to be able to help me. You know, something told me deep down that not only were these people going to help me, but that I was going to have a long-term relationship of some kind with these people. But I didn't know what they did, so they pulled me aside and they, you know, explained to me that they work for a program, an MAT program that helps.
And MAT is?
Medically assisted treatment.
Okay.
And I didn't know at the time that was going to be an option. You know, I went in there, you know, all tough, you know, willing to, you know, deal with it. But I quickly realized that that wasn't the way I was going to go about it, and I was totally okay with going down that route of taking medication for however long it took to deal with this.
So tell me, what specific medication did you take?
All right, so when I come in there, I had been taking methadone for 6 years. Obviously, I was taking a lot of other opiates in between that process, but and I want to explain too that I don't have anything against methadone or people that take methadone. My particular experience with it though was not only did I not have any counseling or any kind of treatment during the period of time I was on that medication.
Right.
The clinic I was going to did not care if I used Xanax or any other drug. They'd still let me take my, get get my medicine there.
So there was no treatment of recovery in conjunction when you were taking the medication?
No, it was just the medication.
Right. Okay.
So I abused the medication, and I abused the system that gave it to me, and also the fact that the methadone got me high. It did. That might not be the case for everybody, but it definitely got me high, and so I wasn't willing to do that. And
so do you think it got you high because they were not regulating because what I know of medication assisted treatment is as long as they have your specific kind of dose, like with what you were using and stuff, the medication should not have that effect on you,
absolutely.
right?
And,
Okay.
And I knew that too. I knew that if I had taken a certain amount of it, I would be okay and I'd feel normal.
Right.
But instead, I tripled the dose of that. And made sure that I had enough to, keep me, where I wanted to be.
Right.
So, I knew about Suboxone when I came in there. I had taken it a few times before I became a heroin addict, and I knew what it could do for people, and I knew that it helped a lot of people. So I was willing to try it, I didn't know what it, at that point my brain was so damaged, I didn't really know how it was going to affect me. So after 10 days of being without any drug, I got out, started on the Suboxone, and it just made me feel like a balanced, normal, chemically regulated, efficient individual.
Wow. So Suboxone saved your life.
It did. And
wow.
The people that really cared about the process and about the people that they were serving.
Right.
And
yes.
It did save my life. If at the time where I was at, after 10 years of using some form of opiate every single day, if I had not done that, I would have just gone back out, not mandated. Luckily, I didn't have to do this in jail. So, it was, everything fell right into place the way that it should. And, looking back on it, I really do see the process of the way that God instituted all these different people and all these different circumstances right in the right time.
Like he set you up for success.
But yeah, exactly. But at the time, it was such a powerful thing at the time that I was even aware of it while it was happening.
Wow.
And even the people there, felt that. And
so now, how important has spirituality been in your journey?
Spirituality is something that, I don't really think of it so much as something that's a helpful part of my recovery. I think of it as my recovery.
Okay.
I see spirituality as something that I have to stay devoted to daily, and it feeds me every single day. That I make time for it. It makes time for me. But basically, but from the time I was about 21 to the time that I was about 25, 26, I went through a spiritual awakening. I really did. And there was what brought me to my higher power and to my spirituality was one particular event that really changed everything, that really gives me strength to this day. And I and my best friend were going on a hike one day. We were walking up this mountain, and we got to the top of the mountain, and my friend had a water bottle in his hand, and it had a little bit of water left in it. And God spoke to both of us on that mountain, and a very powerful situation, but told me and my best friend that that I needed to be baptized.
Wow.
On that mountain.
Wow.
And that it was a very real thing. It wasn't like, we were being communicated with.
Yes.
So we sat down, and my friend poured the rest of his water bottle on my head. And what took place was just a very, very beautiful thing.
Wow, it sounds it.
And from that point on, my whole life has changed.
Yes,
but
that is amazing.
without me doing the work, because I was still obviously an addict at that point.
Right.
I wasn't going to get clean. But it opened my eyes to something bigger than myself, and opened my eyes up very wide, and became very real to me. So I take time every day to devote myself to what that thing is, because from that point on, I knew it was real. It wasn't just a book. It wasn't just stories. It was something that loved me. More than a human being can love another human being. So, and I know that kind of sounds a little nutty. But,
no, it doesn't sound nutty at all. Not to me.
Yeah. So, I'm sure you can understand. But,
yes.
So yeah, it's very important to me. And I enjoy talking to other people about it. So, that's part of my recovery now too, is taking that energy of those experiences that I had and trying to bring those into this world and try and show that hope is there, hope is real, and no matter how damaged, because I was damaged, no matter how damaged you are, there's always room for that. There's always room for redemption. It's always possible, so I was lucky in that sense.
Yeah, that is amazing. We can have another interview on encounters with God, okay?
Yeah, definitely.
Lots of those. So now tell me, and I super appreciate your honesty, your vulnerability, your transparency here. Why do you think it is so important to not only speak out about recovery, but about your specific pathway?
Well, for one, just because of the fact that when people are addicted to opiates in particular for so long, especially in my case and in a lot of people's cases, you become so dependent on it, to your core, that you don't actually believe anymore that you're even, cut out for recovery. That I didn't think that I was even going to be able to do it, no matter what I tried. So many people out there, are either uneducated about the medication, or they just don't know about how effective it can be. Because even a small amount of that medication, because it doesn't take very much, it can really help give you a space to be able to deal with the beginning stages of your recovery without your blood pressure going through the roof and so it's just important for people to know that it is an option. Because like I said, a lot of addicts out there don't see an option. They know that they're not willing. I wasn't willing to go through it, and just by myself and white knuckle it. So it's important to know it's an option, and also the main thing for me was the fact that it did not get me high. That was and I made that clear when I started this, because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to affect me that way, because I knew it would happen if it did. So when you take that kind of medication after being addicted to opiates for such a long period of time, it's not going to affect your receptors the way it would if you had never popped an oxycodone or never done any kind of opiate before.
Right.
You know, it's just gonna make you feel like a normal human being.
Yes.
You know, like you should feel. You know,
yes, absolutely.
You know, everybody has, you know, everybody, you know, has a birthright, in my opinion, to not be in bondage in that way. You know,
yes.
You know, so the way I see it is that you should do whatever you need to do or have to do to get better, and no matter what that looks like, as long as you're not getting high, as long as you're not doing you know real drugs, you know, you do what you got to do.
Yes.
You know, like I said at the beginning of this interview, it's about survival. You know, these aren't small stakes you're dealing with here, and it's not just about you.
Right.
You know, I lost, you know, so many brothers and sisters in my journey in life. You know, it's not necessary. You know, there's an option here. You know,
yes.
And
I always say, whatever works for you, do more of it. You know, and with speaking out, you know, it's so empowering to be able to be proud of yourself for the things that you've overcame and the things you've been through. You know, I always say, when I lost my anonymity, that my chains of guilt and shame were broken, and I was no longer in that bondage, and I was able to be free.
Yeah. And the exact same for me, because now that I've been able to go through my own process of recovery over the last 2 years, you know, and giving myself that time and that space to heal, I'm not in that pain anymore. You know? And
yes.
You know, and it's even difficult to even remember how much pain I was in. You know, it's you know, it's crazy, the comparison. And that's, you know, one of the last things that I'll say is just that, you know, it's, you know, not only is recovery possible for anybody, you know, it really does transform and change your life if you give it a shot. If you are really willing to walk away from the people, places, and things, and try something new.
Yeah.
Listen to people that are smarter than you are and that have already gone through
yes.
fire. You can get out of the fire too. And you know, it's just important to me that people out there know it's an option. And you know, of course, I was made fun of. I was, you know, called names. I was, you know, stigma's real. You know, it. You know, and you know, this is the first time that I've brought it up, other than, you know, inner circle type people, and it's because I'm a more confident human being now.
Yes.
That I'm on this side of recovery. I'm not, you know, part of not being in that bondage anymore also means that I don't really care about, you know, the negative opinions of others around me.
Right.
You know, we all have our demons. We all have our issues. So it is what it is. But here I am now. I'm healthy.
Yes.
You know, I have a family that loves me and I love, that I can, you know, that I have stronger and more dynamic relationships with than ever before. You know, I'm able to give my heart to other people. I'm able to receive love from others. My brain works again.
Yes, hallelujah.
That's a big thing. You know, you don't think your brain can heal as much as it does, but the body and the brain are very, you know, very resilient things. You know, that, you know, you can bounce back from just about anything.
Right.
You know,
so true.
You'd be surprised, you know, what's on the other end of, you know, that life. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And you deserve it. You are worth it. And I'm so super proud of you. Thank you so much, Tyler Mckee, for coming in and sharing with everybody his story of experience and recovery inspired hope. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll have another episode of you soon. Make sure you go onto my YouTube, Jamie Tall, and subscribe. And check out Glow Beauty Lounge, who sponsored our wonderful interview tonight. So, bye.
Bye, guys.